And we hope he doesn't have to kick off too many times tonight because it's difficult enough just to get it right. As the kick goes to Nagahi, who'll bring it out of the end zone. And now on the reverse to Scally. And Scally's got a wide open field. He's got one man to beat. A guy actually came off the bench and there's a flag down, but nobody will touch Morgan Scally as Scally goes into the end zone.
Up the reverse, kind of get the crowd into the game. This time they come out of the end zone, look like he might stay in. Comes out with a big reverse to Morgan Scally and just fooled everybody. The only guy that wasn't fooled was Dodmasters, their starting cornerback, and he came in.
Because of the injury to Kovacevic, as Matt Kovacevic, as he squibs a kick, and it's picked up by Jackson to the 30-yard line. 4 is Magic Johnson. Actually, his name's Irvin Johnson, but they'll stay on the ground. And pick up a 5 on first down by Perkins, and Steichen to the air and right to Johnson. And Johnson is, and UNLV trails by a 7-0 count as Dorsey gets the football in the backfield. Avoids one tackle, but can't avoid the give to Dorsey again. And Dorsey hides behind that big offensive lineman. He's now a flag on the play.
Number 17.
Blitz here, Steve.
Steichen wants to throw, does, for Johnson on the side.
Defense, Steve, you're going to be lucky to get 1 out of 20 first down. They can get a big block.
And they do, and Utah has a block.
Get to +4, it's going to be very, very difficult for them.
Johnson is the man in motion. Here comes the blitz, and right to the air is Alex Smith. Smith throws complete to Savoy, who chucks one tackle. And
throw and catch, misses the tackle, touchdown.
Goes down the middle, and it is fielded by Dominic Dorsey. Dorsey goes to the outside.
Them to get stuff going on offense.
The deep pitch to Dorsey. And Dorsey, the scat back. And you know what's...
Go out there, make a field goal if they ever don't score in the red zone, a touchdown.
Now what's going on with him, but it...
Full start. Offense number...
Deep pitch to Dorsey. Cuts back, finds a seam, and can't go any further. And credit Dorsey if indeed UNLV got it back, because it must have been him. As Steichen looks long and has a man, and has a catch, a complete to win that game. Dorsey, the ball carrier, looking for a seam, and Utah.
That pursuit, you're in great shape.
Movement under is the man who jumped.
Offense number 70.
Thank you, Chris. Not good news indeed as Steichen looks to the air. Swing pass to Dorsey, and Dorsey in the open field.
DB position.
3rd and 13 for the Rebels. Here comes the delayed blitz, and throwing in 40-yard field, actually a 41-yard field goal attempt. Low liner. Here comes the blitz, and the Utes will keep the football. Comes the blitz again from UNLV, and quick release by Alex Smith as a flag goes down on the far blitzer, Steve.
Defense number 98.
Smith in the backfield. The fake to Johnson, who picks up the blitz, and a completion down the middle to Paris Ward at the 39-yard line. And the pitch to Marty Johnson, who's wrapped Johnson for a loss of 1 on the play as Quinton Ganther comes in.
Number 11. 5-yard penalty.
The artificial surface. As Smith faked to Ganther and now pitches to Savoy on it. 3rd and 10 now for Utah. Smith throws complete to about the 22-yard line. Tight end in motion for Utah. Smith gets away quickly to Savoy as Smith was Ganther in the backfield. Latondras joins him. Smith inside pass to Latondras. Latondras has some room, and Latondras.
And last week
from Kovacevic, again a squib kick as Utah will not kick to Dominic Dorsey. Ball is brought, and now back to live action, 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line for the Rebels as Dominic Dorsey.
ACS worthy and everything like that. I can tell you this, their defense flies around as quickly as any other.
10 from midfield for Vegas as they keep it on the ground again. Trying to...
Does anything. The running game, Dominic Dorsey, he has almost 8,000 yards. He's got touchdowns, nobody else, but here's a big play for him.
A huge play to Marshall on the slant, and Marshall trying to get it. As it is, it's 1st and goal from the 8-yard line and up the
coordinator. That's just the way he is, but they're going to have to get some big plays in the passing game.
Well, there's a touchdown, and you're
the linebackers.
Aguayo's kick, Johnson, and now Warren in the backfield. Warren on the pitch. Warren looks for a block. Good. Rebels showing blitz. Now they come from the outside, and Smith under pressure, and Alex Smith. in a four-man rush.
Delay a game. Number 20, defense.
And the give inside to Ganther. No, the fake to Ganther, and the keeper by Alex Smith. What a great ball fake, and Smith is still in the open field. Smith makes a cut, and Smith will score. Alex Smith, 70 yards. As the David Dorsey, they will squib kick. They will kick this ball down the middle, but they will not allow Dominic Dorsey to get his hands on the football. And if you're the Rebels, you just try and stay in this thing. Dorsey fumbles the football. Utah recovers. Dropping the ball is Smith. He picks it up. Inside, the Tondras in motion.
Reverse.
There's the reverse. Steve Savoy. Savoy sheds a tackle, has a first down, has room, and has 6. So much for that guess. That's, I don't believe, was what they wanted them to do, however. Dominic Dorsey does get it. To move the football. UNLV did put together a nice drive. Now they keep it on the ground. Dominic Dorsey has a hole, and Dorsey is tough.
Arms or legs out. They can't do it on a guy that gets it that fast.
Spike into the air, almost intercepted. In fact, it is.
Just go to that next year.
I think you do everything you can to get it as right as possible. And have tried it, so it may take a while. You know, the argument is we wait for the kick, and it looks like a shank, but Weddle calls for the fair catch. Steve Savoy in motion. Inside handoff to Savoy, who cuts inside a block and gets out across the
run, and also a 100-yard return at the start of the game.
Marty Johnson, a big hole up the middle, first down territory and more.
Another big score for the touchdown.
Back to live action. Marty Johnson in the open field into the secondary.
Not only has done a good job with these guys running routes, but they're doing a super job of all the support things too. Dry them off. They might feel like they're dry, but they weigh about 2 times more than they should.
Smith steps up. He's going deep. He's got bounces off.
Ball. You see a lot of the NFL guys wearing gloves on either a cold day or rainy day, but I know last year Alex Smith ran for 97 himself, so it's really no surprise that Utah is having success.
Utah has the ball on the 43 after play action. Smith looks to the air again, throws to the outside, and another. The Tondras was the motion man. Now he's the pitch man, and he gets the football, goes to the outside, and tries to
get caught up in the walk.
Marty Johnson out 3rd and 4, takes the inside handoff. That butt of his center, Jesse Boone. Boy, he didn't have much. And the ball comes free. And UNLV says they're trying to do something quickly, capitalize on the emotional switch. And a pass under center. Gives to Perkins. And Perkins still on his feet across midfield and across the 40th center with Dorsey behind him now. Give to Dorsey. Through the middle, still on his feet. Perkins is the man flanked to the right of the quarterback. The give is to Dorsey. Perkins with a block. Dorsey with some running room. Dorsey, it's a foot race to the end zone that Dorsey will win. And it is get back. It's Bo Nagahi who takes it at the goal line. Nagahi into the teeth of that defense. 2nd and 10 for the 21 for Utah. Ganther spins, but Ganther is. Smith. Shovel pass again. Paris Warren. Smith to the air. Smith under pressure. Wrapped up.
That's why Urban Meyer was so upset with it.
Kavakovic's punt to Dorsey, who wants to let it bounce. Does. And it takes a Utah bounce inside the 45 in tonight, Mike, in this football game so far. And UNLV again. High backfield, toss to the deep back Dorsey. Dorsey cuts across the.
And that turn right there is enough space for Dominic Dorsey because he's so small to get past him.
On 3rd.
To run it again. And what happens when you get to 3rd down and anything over 5 yards, it's different. You can't just run it, you got to throw it. Now you got to be a little bit creative in the pass.
1st and 10 for Utah as Alex Smith looks to the air. Now he'll tuck it and run. He's got some room, heads for the marker, comes up.
Right now, it's just way too early. You know, we've been through this over the years with Tulane, BYU, TCU. We just want the
3-yard line for Utah after the timeout. Quinton Ganther with the football bumps to the outside. Ganther caught from behind by 6-5 team, if that indeed is the case. On 3rd down, fake punt for Utah.
He kicked it.
Oh, he did kick it. I beg your pardon. You know, we've got rain on the front of this.
UNLV.
And their own 48. Smith from the shotgun. And again, throwing short. We haven't forgotten who keeps us in business. Smith will keep it. Get the first down and more. Takes the hit.
Personal foul, defense number 52.
Wrapped up, and
You should be able to take care of 4 guys.
loss of 6 on the play as the pass is complete to Savoy inside. Smith again looks to throw, has time into the end zone, and Warren was juggling the football. And
We'll see it on the replay. His feet.
does he have control or not?
Well, he's going to miss it, and he grabs it, and then
I think and it will go to Alvin Marshall. Marshall beyond the 20, beyond the 25.
dumb mistakes and give the ball back to him.
Well, he is recovering from a pelvic injury. We heard that we might see him tonight, but the Rebels will start the second half the way they start the first.
Philosophy.
They pick up 2 on first down. Give now to Dorsey. Pops to the outside. Now cuts inside a block, and then
Right up here.
Marshall was the motion man. Pass intended for Marshall.
What happened because of a little drop?
And a missed punt. Not a good punt at all, but it will take a UNLV bounce. Weddle will watch it bounce. And
Effectively, and that's sometimes hard when teams know you're going to run the football. Series after the rest of us do, and so that's why we've seen Alex Smith in there a little bit longer. Again, just outstanding offense. When you can have drives like that, I mean, that would be good for 2 games.
And this time I can see it through the raindrops as Dorsey backs up and fields it. He'll try and return the punt.
Good block in the back. Return team number 5.
But it is 1st and 10. And Steichen still at quarterback. The give to Dorsey. Dorsey escapes 1 tackle. And now is surrounded by 3. It's 2nd and 7. Quick pass out to the outside. It's complete. UNLV. 2nd down now and 13. From the end zone, the pass intended. UNLV trying to convert their first 3rd down of the night. Steichen has it intercepted, and Utah has a touchdown. Steve Fifita, the ball.
Fifita right in your screen right here. You get a blitz by Toon and Scally right in the middle. Fifita just sits right in front of the little screen.
And the kick is up, and
Red place for the interception.
Marshall fields on the 1.5-yard line and comes out across the 20 for the Rebels before he's brought.
Snow and some rain. It really helps those kids.
Dead ball, legal substitution. Defense number 9.
Really a great recruiting tool for Urban Meyer.
Dorsey with a football. Dorsey has some room around the right side, spins, and then is brought. He brings the ball out to the 43-yard line. And Steichen again to the air. Steichen, the pass complete. A bit of chippiness between the 2 of them. As Dorsey again, jitterbugs in the hole, runs out of a tackle, gets into the secondary, and yards. Falling down on the handoff was the quarterback, but Perkins, Irvin Johnson, and I don't see him in the lineup now. I don't know whether something happened to him as Dorsey. Haven't seen him. It's 3rd and 5. Still looking for that first 3rd down conversion. And Dorsey still alive. Dorsey still on his feet, and he stretches for
himself. The offensive line, I mean, there's nothing there, and all of a sudden, boom, he's outside of it, gets to the outside again, shift out to their side. I mean, those are pretty good defenders and tacklers. Or the slashing guy. This is a shifter. And
the end zone, and he'll bring it out.
Yeah, over here. Whoa.
And he gets stood up at the 15-yard line and after the kick. Alex Smith still at quarterback for Utah. Pitches to Marty Johnson. Ball now for Utah as Madsen's in motion, turns it upfield. The pitch goes to Quinton Ganther. And Ganther spins for a Utah first. Smith again flanked by Ganther in the shotgun. And the fake to Ganther. Smith will go to the air. Smith down the middle, and a dropped football.
Let's here, right here, Steve.
Smith throws complete to Madsen. And Madsen to the 40.
Is totally concerned.
And a pass.
This year that he's very tough, but again, it can happen at any time. I mean, it can happen on a play where you're.
Smith throws almost picked off by Smith. Here comes the Kovacevic kick. And it goes to Dorsey. He lets it bounce. It bounces backwards, takes a...
You know, he really dominated with that type of offense. And I think what's happened is...
Picked by Utah's Morgan Scally, who's wrestled out of answering the question of at what point in the game would Alex Smith go. Now Claridge goes out.
Offense.
Yard line.
There's Marty Johnson right up the middle.
Johnson to Johnson. And Marty...
Even what we said earlier in the games he's played.
Well, he snapped it at 5 that time as the inside pass.
The 2 games that they won, they caused 10 turnovers. The other 5 games that they lost, not counting this game, they only caused 2.
And here comes the kick to Dorsey. calls for the fair catch. And Utah a chance to down it before it gets into the end zone, and the Utah defense. Well, Utah hasn't done as good a job of containing him as they did Antoine Randall. 2 now after the 8-yard pickup. And coming up short on that carry is Deontay Perkins. Johnson at quarterback. Give to Marty Johnson up the middle inside the. Marty Johnson goes in and scores the 1. And Carroll
Outfit going on.
Steichen hands off to Dorsey. And Dorsey trying to make 2nd and 7. And again, Dorsey will get the carry. And Dorsey is the only
Staff down there. They haven't had the studs up front to continually, from behind. They're in this game right here.
block punt by Utah. And the Utes trying to find the handle on this football, and it goes into the end zone. Problem with the kicking game. We just have a question about the kicker right now. There's the block. And the ball will be, I was going to say fielded, but it's a first down, and Steichen throws to Marshall. It's dropped on the out.
Time till you hear the whistle.
Deep toss again to Dorsey. Steps inside a block, still on his feet. Throwing blitz. Give us to Perkins to the outside. And Perkins leading 63-21. Well, they got this one away. And it is fielded at the 30-yard line. Fano Tagovailoa. 1st and 10 for Utah at the 44-yard line. The Utes will keep the football on the ground. And
Holding offense number 39.
And Brian Johnson keeps. Brian Johnson.
Right now, I don't think he's really paying attention to that quite enough.
Brian Johnson tries to go, now bounces it to the outside, and Brian Johnson against the sideline goes out of.
Had kind of a disappointing season. I think you got to go all the way to the BYU game, who now looks like a pretty good owner, who played every snap at offensive line for him, was out last week. So you start losing guys like that.
Ball kept on the ground.
Go 3 downs and barely get it, then barely get it, and barely get it.
Perkins again, the ball carrier. Perkins almost.
These guys so bad so I could play.
Pitch to Perkins.
Stay in bounds.
And again,
guys saying, we'll give up on the season because, the seniors, they're already done, so people are giving up on
for them. And Perkins. It's a
I'm not really sure about my kid going and living in Las Vegas while he's going to college, but
Dr. Mike Hamrick, I think, is trying to turn things around. He said he'll conduct a nationwide.
Some new life, maybe with some new opportunity that maybe hooks up with these young guys a little bit better. Now the problem is, I think that John Robinson probably handcuffs him a little bit and says, "You're going to run the."
Look what he did with the basketball situation in coaching there. Pass is complete. 1 for the Rebels. The ball at the 45-yard line. And they good. A high-profile hire in Lon Kruger as the pitch comes out to the outside. And once again, Dorsey's got some.
Offside defense number 92.
Alex Smith, another solid game. Didn't have to do a whole lot, but did just enough through the touchdown pass.
It was 100 pounds ago. Going deep, Steichen. Got a receiver. Stretching. Whether you're evaluated by this coaching staff or anybody else, you want playing time if you're a player. Deontay.
But how many yards did you give up? How many first downs did you give up? How many points did you give up? That makes a big difference.
Steichen on the naked has the first down and has a touchdown. And Fano Tagovailoa from a yard deep in his own end zone will bring it out across the 25. Some running room, reversing his field. Can he get to the outside? No, he goes inside the 3-yard line now. As the University of Utah will operate and try and just hold the football. Squad man, the junior from Layton, Utah. And IU with the ball. Carries the football for the Utes. Calling his own number. Madsen goes up the middle. Little quarterback.
The BCS to hold face in what is not a very good system. Woo, here he goes.
Joe Johnson with a. Again, Joe Johnson, the ball carrier, up the middle.
One's in that position, but I think with everything that's gone on, I think it would be very difficult for the heads of the BCS.
Again, to give inside, Joe Johnson.
Typically what it is you got your butt kicked all day long of a half punch. Maybe that's what saved him.
1st and goal from the 7.
Offense number 71.
And a give again is to Joe Johnson. Cuts it up the middle. Now cuts to the right side. Brigham Howe calls his own number. There it is. Brigham Howe gets to the 1 yard line and gets under center now as Madsen.
He's going to sit on this, and that's just unlike Urban, but
He
a
took
good
a knee
sportsman.
for UNLV, who have changed quarterbacks, by the way. Scott Turner, a junior.